I grew up in a small town in Kansas. And before you ask, no, you haven't heard of it. Nobody has. We had one grocery store, two churches, a gas station that closed at 9, and enough gossip to ruin your life before Sunday service. My mother, Bonnie, she loved that town. I hated it. I think I knew I was going to leave before I even understood what leaving meant. My mother used to say,
Ivy, one day you're going to realize you need people.
and I would always tell her, I have Stephen. My mother's face would change whenever I said his name. I noticed it, even when I was little.
Ivy, Steven isn't real.
Yes, he is.
No, baby. He's your imaginary friend.
Then how does he know things? My mother would go quiet. Every time. I should have noticed that too. Stephen had been around for as long as I could remember. I never saw him clearly. Not really. Sometimes I'd see a shadow sitting in the corner of my bedroom and I'd hear footsteps following me home from school. Once, when I was 11, I woke up crying because there was a boy at school who'd spent 3 months making my life miserable. That night, I heard Stephen beside my bed.
Why do you let him hurt you?
I don't let him hurt me.
You do.
What am I supposed to do?
Choose
Choose what?
whether his happiness is more important than your peace.
I remember staring into the darkness. Mom says I should forgive people. Stephen laughed. It was soft and almost warm.
Your mother has made many choices for you. Forgiveness doesn't have to be one of them.
The next morning, I punched that boy in the mouth. I got suspended for 3 days. My mother was furious. Stephen, he was proud of me.
See, you chose.
As I got older, Stephen changed. Or maybe I did. His voice became deeper. The shadow in my room became taller. Sometimes I could almost make out a man's face, but whenever I turned on the light, he was gone. I never dated much, never had many friends. People exhausted me. Stephen never did. He never asked me to smile, never told me I was too quiet, never asked why I preferred books to parties. He just stayed. Are you a ghost? I asked him once. I was 17. His answer came from somewhere behind me.
Would it matter?
Yes,
Why?
because I'd like to know who I've been talking to my entire life.
I'm someone who wants you to be free.
I smiled. That's not an answer.
It is the only answer you need.
At 17, I thought that was profound. At 26, I realized it was suspicious as hell. I became an archivist, religious manuscripts specifically. I know. The antisocial girl with a ghost best friend dedicated her career to studying religion. Life has a sense of humor. My dream job took me to Romania, restoring old religious manuscripts. Some were hundreds of years old. Prayer books, church records, letters written by priests, and texts damaged by fire and water. I loved it. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Stephen didn't agree. Et libera nos malo. The room suddenly went cold. I looked up from the manuscript. Stephen? Nothing. I went back to my notes. Deliver us from evil. A book fell from the shelf behind me. I jumped. Okay. Very mature. His voice came from the darkness.
Stop reading that.
I froze. Stephen had never told me what to do. Suggested? Yes. Influenced? Definitely. But ordered me? Never. Excuse me?
Put it away, Ivy, now.
It's my job.
Find another manuscript.
I leaned back in my chair. Are you scared of Latin? Silence. I smiled. Oh my God. The lights flickered.
Don't say his name.
Stephen? I started laughing. Are you afraid of Jesus? Every light in the archive shut off. I sat in complete darkness. Stephen? His voice was suddenly beside my ear, deeper than I'd ever heard it.
Free will does not mean freedom from consequences, Ivy.
I couldn't move. Then The lights came back on. Stephen was gone for 3 weeks. That's when Anka started talking to me. She was the elderly woman who cleaned my building. She was older, small, and quiet. She spoke very little English. My Romanian was terrible, so most of our conversations consisted of smiling and pointing at things. Until one evening, she stopped me near the entrance.
Ivy,
I turned. Yes? Her English was suddenly perfect.
would you like to come to church with us tonight?
I stared at her. You speak English? Anka smiled.
When necessary.
That should have been my first warning. Instead, I said, "What time is the service?" She looked toward the window. The sun was setting.
When the light leaves?
I frowned. That's dramatic. She smiled again.
You will come, yes?
I don't know why I said yes. Maybe I was lonely, or missed Stephen, or maybe something had already decided for me. I wore a long black dress, combat boots, and my thickest winter coat. When I arrived at the church, Anka was waiting outside. Am I early?
No.
Then where is everyone? She opened the church door.
Inside.
There were 5 people. That's it, 5. All kneeling around the altar, chanting. I stopped near the door. Anka, what language is being chanted?
A prayer. Old language.
I've been studying Latin for years. That's not Latin. Anka slowly turned toward me.
No.
Every person near the altar stopped praying and looked at me. I whispered, "I think I should go." Anka grabbed my hand. Her grip was surprisingly strong.
No. You came a very long way.
My stomach dropped, and the priest stood.
Ivy.
I looked at Anka. I didn't tell him my name.
No. You didn't.
The priest extended his hand.
Come forward.
Every part of my body told me to run, but I walked, one step, then another, until I stood inside the circle. The chanting stopped. The church became silent. Anka stepped behind me, and then she whispered.
She will make a perfect vessel.
I turned. "I'm sorry." "A what?" One of the men pulled out a knife. Another reached for my arm, and that's when I started laughing. I didn't want to laugh, that's important, because inside I was terrified. "Stop." But my body kept laughing. The priest stepped backward.
No.
Anka's smile disappeared.
My lord, I see your eyes. Is that you?
I felt warmth spread through my chest, my neck, my face. And then I heard him for the first time in weeks.
Ivy, I told you to stop reading. Now I have to reveal myself to these lowly subjects.
Inside my mind, I screamed and said, "Stephen!" My head slowly lifted. I could see everything, but I wasn't controlling my mouth. When I spoke, the words were Romanian, perfect Romanian.
Are you trying to sacrifice her for me? You cannot sacrifice someone who already belongs to us.
Anka dropped to her knees.
My lord, Siren.
Siren? Who the hell was Siren? The priest started praying. My mouth smiled.
You have to be punished, since you all were trying to hurt my queen.
The candles went out, and the screaming started. When I opened my eyes, I was outside, standing in the snow, barefoot. My coat was gone. The church doors were closed behind me. I looked around. "Stephen?" Silence. "Stephen!" Nothing. Then I heard his voice, not beside me, not behind me, inside me.
My name was never Stephen.
I stopped breathing. "Who are you, and why did you call me your queen?" He laughed, the same laugh I'd heard my entire life.
Ask your mother.
And for the first time since leaving Kansas, I wanted to go home, but I knew Stephen, no, Siren, would always be with me now. I never went back inside that church. As I walked through the Romanian snow, I barely noticed the cold. My feet sizzled against the frozen ground with every step. steam rising behind me. The winter air should have frozen my lungs. Instead, I felt warm, almost protected or possessed. I couldn't tell the difference anymore. By the time I reached my apartment, my hands were shaking. There was only one person left who might know the truth. My mother. I grabbed my phone and called Bonnie. She answered on the second ring.
Ivy?
Mom. My voice trembled. Who is Stephen? Silence. Not confusion or surprise, just silence. The kind of silence that only comes from someone who has spent years hiding the truth. Finally, I heard her crying. Then I said, his name was never Stephen, was it? Before she could answer, a familiar voice echoed inside my mind. Warm, calm, and almost amused.
I've been waiting a long time for this conversation.
I closed my eyes. For the first time, I realized I had never been alone. Not when I was a child, not in Kansas, not in Romania, and certainly not now, somewhere deep inside my mind. Siren smiled. He had protected me since the day my mother gave me away to Siren. He had watched me grow, guided my choices, defended me, but Siren had never intended for us to remain merely companions. He knew, long before I ever did, that what bound us together would become far more than a casual friendship. It was only just the beginning.